What's good, people? What is up? What is they went from the fourth level of hell and sent us down to the seventh level of hell. Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. What?
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's Meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really hello, casting, wardrobe, y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not going to see it? We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, baby, you ate on this first date, you giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's how I do this song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. This what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Ooh, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was going to stop. I thought Lil Murder was going to turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Murder was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Girl. Uncle Cliff, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. What he had on looked like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Iyanla Van Zandt neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup, clumped in everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. And you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. Yeah. Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see it. Hit me up in my DNC. I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue jock strap or something like that. I'd love to see it too. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy.
Oh, why am I playing Really Be on the background? Oh, I'm over there in the bushes down to the Really Be. Y'all heard her in the background. I be in the bushes all the time. I rarely pop out the bushes, but I'm always in the bushes. I always be in the bushes. Hey, Morgan, let me let the people know that I'm live, God. Mm. How y'all doing today? How are you all today? How is everyone today? Let's see here. I'm not going to do a lot of promotions for the Run Your Mouth, only because I'm going to make sure I push out the watch party. The watch parties have been doing really good. Hey, Morgan. How are you today, Morgan? Hey. How are you? But I wanted to go live a little early because I know I'm gonna be live later for the watch party. So I wanted to have a little break between Run Your Mouth and the watch party. You've enjoyed the watch parties. I've enjoyed the watch parties as well. You're welcome, Tracy W. I have enjoyed y'all. We have been enjoying ourselves during the watch parties. It's supposed to be another big night tonight. I think Stevie Wonder is supposed to be performing. John Legend is supposed to be performing. Josh Shapiro is going to be on tonight. I know Bill Clinton will be on tonight. We'll go over that at the watch party tonight. We'll go over the schedule for tonight when we get on the watch party. But it's going to be another good night. Listen, DNC 2024 has not disappointed, but the DNC is usually pretty good. I will give them that. They put on a great show. Hey, Morgan. Hey, Tracy W. Hey, Quake. What's going on? Hey, TJ. What's up, boo? But yes, I also need to go get me a Red Bull after Run Your Mouth, and before the watch party, I'm gonna go get me a Red Bull or two so I can make it through. Mm. But listen, hey, Civil Law, how you doing? You back? Did you hit the subscribe button? Just asking. Did you hit the subscribe button? Did you hit the like button, Civil Law? It's Civil Law. Don't worry, I'm not one of those people. You know, you have those YouTubers who all they do is say, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like, and you be like, girl, please leave me alone. You be like, girl, please leave me alone. Leave me alone. And cause they be just bothering you about hitting the like button. They be like, hit the like button. And you be like, girl, what's good, Fi? You dropping in for a few? We doing another watch party tonight, Fi. If you available, let me know. We've been doing watch parties every night around 8:30, 8:45-ish for the DNC. So if you're available, you want me and you want the link, let me know. You can come up and come watch the DNC with us. Shout out also to Miss Baythang. I don't know if she's in. She'll probably be in here later. But shout out to Miss Baythang. She sent me a cash app last night. She said, because I know they not gonna monetize the video. And sure enough, they didn't monetize the video last night, right? So there were two things that that I needed to take out. One was that song that I knew I messed up and I ain't catch it in time. The song that they played before Doug Emhoff. I missed it. That was that song y'all said you should know that when and I was like, I don't know that song. But anyway, that song but I could have trimmed that or clipped that out of it, snipped that out of it and went on. But then they said Angela also Brooks' speech was causing me to be demonetized. And they wanted me to cut out her whole speech. And I was like, no, I'm not going to cut out her whole speech. She had a wonderful speech and I wanted it to stay in. So I left it demonetized. But it was so sweet of, oh, you still in London? Okay. You fly back in the morning. Listen, I've been on that London flight. I've been to London. I've been on that London flight. Be safe. Be safe. So, what was I about to say? Oh, so I just left it demonetized, and thank you to Miss Baythang for sending over a cash app. She was like, "Cause I know this not gonna be monetized." And sure enough, it is not monetized anyway. But I wanted to make sure we didn't do a Run Your Mouth yesterday because Tuesdays are the days that we do red, blue, and black. And so I didn't do one, but I wanted to do one today because we do still have some things that we need to talk about that's going on around the country. I don't want people to think that we can't chew gum and walk at the same time. We can be, paying attention to the we can certainly pay attention to what's going on with the DNC as well as keep our foot on their necks with regard to some of the stuff that's going on around this country, and we'll certainly be doing that. So that's why we're here now, to do our patented Run Your Mouth. Go ahead and put some shondos in the chat. Hey Fran, what's going on, boo? Go ahead and put some shondos in the chat. Let me know you ready to get this party started. Let me get the screen up. No, that's not what I need. I need that. I got to remember that audio thing for tonight because I forgot to do the audio thing yesterday. And you'll be available on Tuesday for Red, Blue, and Black. Okay. I got you, Fi. I got you. So listen. Last night was day 2 of the 2024 Democratic National Convention. And it was an epic night. Listen, an epic night. They had the official roll call with the designating of delegates and assigning them for Kamala Harris. And they had DJ Cassidy on the wheels of steel. And I loved, DJ Cassidy, white boy DJ Cassidy be doing the goddamn thing on the wheels of steel. I ain't gonna even hate on the man. The man, if you've never seen DJ Cassidy do a pass the mic, epic pass the mic. And he usually does it where he'll play like old songs, R&B and hip hop, and he'll have those people come and perform it live, like actually perform it. And he's had some great pass the mics. Anyway, he did his, he did pass the mic. So it was epic last night. And every time they went to a different state, he played another song that, either had an artist from that state or, had some significance to that state. It was just great last night. Georgia came. When Georgia went, they had Lil Jon roll up out of there. And and I swear I saw that man's meat as he was walking down the stairs. Anyway, but Kamala accepted the nomination. She officially accepted the nomination. Now, they had already had a Zoom call where delegates were pledged last week. So this was really ceremonial. And she and Tim Walz were in Minnesota, and they were they had a campaign stop in Minnesota, and they cut in, and she officially accepted the nomination there in Minnesota. DC didn't even use a DC artist or go shameful. Listen, I don't know, Melly. I don't even remember who he played for DC. I mean, it wasn't really up to them. Well, I guess it was up to them, but I don't know if they gave him a song. I don't know if they knew they had that option. I don't know what the background details were, but that's the situation. Anyway, hey Montrez, hey Sharice, hey Melly, hey David, Lovely 31 Blueprint, everybody else coming in. What's going on? Miss Bay Thing, what's going on? I just gave a shout out to you. You gave me a Cash App last night, and I was talking about how in your Cash App when you said because this video probably won't be monetized, and sure enough, it certainly wasn't monetized at all. Anyway, but I appreciate you. Thank you, my love, for your Cash App last night, because they did not let me monetize that video. Hey, Regina, what's good, boo? Regina, is Really Be going to meeting tonight? Let me know, Regina, if you got Really Be to carry herself to meet tonight, or are you still in New Orleans? Are you still in New Orleans, Regina? Let me know, because I need to know if she go her butt to meeting tonight. Hey Cajun, hey Brown Mama, everybody coming in. Tawana D, Tamara, Nichelle, how you doing? Are you liking the members only chat? Tamara, I know you've recently been added to the members only chat. And it's kind of crazy in us sometimes. I'm just saying, hey Yana, boo, you ain't got no practice today, Yana? Yeah. You got a day off? Yeah. Hey, Sydney, Alex, how you doing? Okay, you in New Orleans and she'll be at meeting? Okay, you in New Orleans, okay. I heard about the shenanigans, Regina, with that lawsuit and everything. I heard about it, Regina. Child, we'll talk about it when I get down to Richmond in October. Girl, we'll have a drink and we'll talk about it, Regina. We'll talk about it. Anyway, oh, you in Virginia. You didn't go to New Orleans. Oh, okay. I got you. I did say hello to you to Ravine. I didn't say hello. Hello, Ravine. How are you, my love? I was watching Native Land podcast. Native if you're not watching Native Land podcast, it's a great YouTube channel and a great podcast. They come on every Thursday at they it drops every Thursday. It's with Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, and Andrew Gillum. Phenomenal podcast. Anyway, they've been live at the DNC all week long. And they had your national president, the national president of Delta Sigma Theta was on last night. If you look at the if you look at their video from last night at the DNC, they had your president of Delta Sigma Theta up there last night. But they've had the who's who of black people in politics has been up on Native Land podcast all week. Tonight they're supposed to have Wes Moore. They're supposed to have Maxine Waters tonight. They've been having a bunch. Hakeem Jeffries was there last night. I mean, it was just some of everybody will roll up in there and roll through there and talk to Native Land podcast. So it's been great. Hey, Symmetry. Hey, Mr. Pisces. What's going on? So, as I was saying earlier, don't give her a special shout out. That's better than I give who a special shout out. I didn't think about you, Cajun. Hey, Cross Country Cruiser, how you doing today, boo? You're doing well today. Listen, I am always glad to see you in the building, Cross Country Cruiser, and I'm glad you're here. Child, you be cruising on the 2 wheels. You be on 2 wheels like Tanya. Tanya be on 2 wheels too. Cross Country Cruiser, she be on 2 wheels too. Anyway, okay, you usually watch it. You gonna go back and watch? Okay. Hey, Nubiology, what's going on? What's going on, boo? So, we were talking about the fact that last night Kamala Harris, she did accept the nomination. They had roll call last night, and let me paint the picture for you, okay? Having been a delegate before, I was a delegate at the 2012 not Olympics. God damn it, I said Olympics. At the 2012 at the 2012 DNC. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was a delegate for Florida, and so I had that. It was a phenomenal opportunity. So when you have roll call, that's when they call every state, and every state, the state party leader will go and they will say, Florida cast 247 votes for, whoever the nominee is. Now, so last night we had roll call. Roll call is always wild like that, but last night was even more wild than it normally is. Let's be clear. Roll call at the DNC is normally a party, but last night was even more so. When Lil Jon came out with them pants and that vest and his meat showing, I was like, Lil Jon, sir, what are you doing with that? Hey, crazy homebody girl. You said they had 2 separate locations packed out. I think that they may want to consider moving forward. They have it right now in a basketball arena, which is limited in size. You can only get so many people in a basketball arena. They may have to change up and maybe get look at maybe a larger venue, like maybe even a football stadium, even if they did like half the football stadium, so you can have more people there. I know they may be worried about rain and different things like that, but just a thought, because that arena actually could not hold them. And from my friends that are there and all of my sources that are there, they say even press row is like standing room only. They say the amount of black people there and just the community that you feel with the black delegation that's there for Kamala is like awe-inspiring. They said, they actually cussed me out. Hey, the real K-Fit. They cussed me out. They said, E, where the fuck are you at? Why are you not here? You supposed to be here partying and drinking with us. And I was like, yeah, you right. And But roll call was great last night. Great. And then they went over to Kamala to show her accepting the nomination. She was with Tim Walz. They were over in Minnesota. Now, programming note, yes, we will be having our watch party tonight. Come back tonight. Watch party starts at 8:30. Watch party will start at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll go until the end. If you have not come here and watch the DNC with us, you are missing out. We absolutely have been having a fucking blast every night. We literally sit here and we watch it together. We comment, and we just have a blast. If you have not been here for our watch parties for the DNC, you've been missing out. We've been having a phenomenal time. So I invite you all to come back at 8:30 tonight when we will do it all over again. I will drop the link if anybody wants to come up and be a part of the watch party along with us. But we've been having a great time, so don't miss out on that tonight. So here's your update from the political from the campaign trail. You know, we start off every day. Oh, I'm sorry. Who am I? Y'all know we got to start this thing off right. Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary gender conforming members of our audience, it's time for us to bring our boy up. Larry, kick it off. It's time for your Sugar Spike segment.
You see, this is the part that I like.
Major Sugar Spike.
So love now, I want to fight. That he gave. His only begotten son.
Major Sugar Spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major Sugar Spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus. Thank you, Larry. May he rest in peace. So from the campaign trail, and if you have not, so please hit the like button, share the video out, all of that good stuff. We know tonight Tim Walz is scheduled to speak. President Clinton is scheduled to speak. Governor Josh Shapiro is scheduled to speak. The list tonight, listen, they've had a jam-packed list of speakers every single night and have delivered every night. We'll get to last night in just a second. But I think even Nancy Pelosi speaks tonight. More from the campaign trail. Believe it or not, there have been big and major protests going on outside of the DNC. Monday, there was a breach to the fence that they had where protesters were supposed to stay on one side of the fence. That fence was breached on Monday, so that yesterday they had to put up new fencing. Monday during the speeches, there was a big banner that was put out that said stop killing Palestinians. I think it said. They took that banner down and escorted the people who put that banner up out. Last night there was another big banner that was put up in the crowd. It was a pink banner that said free Palestinians. That was also taken down, and the person that put it up was escorted out. There have been quite a few protests. Now, the thing about it is people are saying, well, why are they protesting at the DNC and not at the RNC? That's not true. They did protest at the RNC. There weren't as big numbers at the RNC, but there absolutely were protests for Palestine at the RNC. There was also protests at the RNC about women's rights. But there weren't as many numbers. Now, people are saying, well, why are they doing so much protesting at the DNC and not at the RNC? Well, it makes sense. Why? Because the Democrats are more likely to listen to their plight, more likely to address the issues, more likely to say, hey, let me give you a seat at the table so we can discuss this and talk about it. All of the people, hey, Catherine Powell, John Legend is going tonight, as well as Sheila E. and Stevie Wonder is going tonight as well. But hey, Quintessential, people are saying, why are they doing this? Why are they interrupting? Well, that's what a protest is about. I talked about this when we were talking about Black Lives Matter back in 2020. If your protest does not bring discomfort, if it does not disrupt the norm, if it does not make people stop and say, oh my God, what is happening? You don't have an effective protest. That's the whole point of a protest. That's the whole point of a protest, where you can you have to interrupt the norm. You have to stop the status quo. You have to stop people in their tracks and force them to hear you and listen to what you have going on, because you are in a moment of exigence that you do not want to slip away from you. So I don't blame them. Hey, L Love, what's going on, sweetheart? So I applaud the protesters for doing that. The RF Kennedy Jr. campaign has said that they are expected to suspend their campaign on Friday, and they're in talks to support to endorse Donald Trump. Wes Moore is also speaking tonight. I am really looking forward to hearing from Wes Moore. He is speaking tonight. So I expect that to be a powerful speech. I expect, hopefully, like the speech that Raphael Warnock did on Monday, that absolutely, catapulted him into the public sphere. I hope that this speech that not Josh Shapiro, that Governor Wes Moore does tonight, also does the same thing. I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see what he's ready to present, and hopefully that can be something that catapults him into leadership within the Democratic Party. So we are certainly looking forward to a lot of great speakers tonight. They even got Kenan Thompson performing tonight. Trying to make sure if I missed anything on the campaign trail. Not a lot on the campaign trail. Usually weeks like this are focused and centered around that that convention from that particular party. So it's not a lot from the campaign trail. My frat brother Benny Thompson will also be speaking tonight at the convention. So looking forward to that. Lay round for the watch party. It will be at 8:30. Let's go back to last night. Hey, Paul, what's going on, bruh? Last night was night 2 of the DNC, and listen, let me make these people big. Let me make them big. Listen. Let me help you understand something. If the DNC ended last night, they didn't owe me nothing. They ain't owe me a goddamn thing. When I tell you the moment of last night was Michelle. The moment of last night was Michelle. Barack was good. Barack was Barack. Let's be clear. He was Barack. But make no bones about it. Last night, it was Michelle and then everybody else. I'm just going to be honest. Some of the things before I get to Michelle, some of the things I heard last night that people didn't necessarily like a lot, but we do need to focus on more. Bernie Sanders got up there. Bernie Sanders talked policy. Bernie Sanders talked about tangible things that need to be enacted that people can use to affect their everyday lives. So I love Bernie. Even though I don't like Chuck Schumer at all, Chuck Schumer did speak to the fact that this is not just about the presidential race. Hey, Pinky Tiki, this is also about the down ballot races. They got to keep the Senate. They got to flip the House. And those are just as important, because if you don't keep the Senate and if you don't flip the House, no legislation is going through anyway. None of these programs that you want to do, none of these big ideas and policies that you want to enact will mean anything if there's no concerted effort to keep Congress. Because you ain't getting a damn thing out of SCOTUS. So, but last night we saw black love on display. Listen, Michelle, I don't know who she got on payroll as her stylist, but let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Whoever Michelle has on the payroll as her stylist, she ain't paying them people enough. Mama is not paying them people enough. Mama she was radiating. She was radiating last night. She was glowing. And like I said last night, when we were on the watch party, the thing that you love about Michelle, her words are so powerful. Her words are so impactful. And she does it effortlessly. Doesn't have to yell. Doesn't have to get all demonstrative. She can sit there flat-footed and deliver and cut you to your core like only a black woman can. Okay? Michelle was phenomenal. She was phenomenal. Barack was good too. Barack was good too. I loved Angela also Brooks. She was good last night. Who else did I like last night? My mind just went blank. Because after Michelle and Barack, we didn't need anything else. We didn't need anything else. But they were great. Great. Yeah, it was great. It was a great moment. It reminded us of what we miss. It reminded us of what we miss in politics. For all that Joe Biden has done policy-wise or has not done policy-wise, the thing that we miss about the Obamas is their ability to speak to you and talk directly to you. And we just don't have that right now. You have people talking at you, but you don't have people speaking to you. That's the difference. But it was a great moment last night. If you did not see Michelle Obama, if you see nothing last night, just go back and watch Michelle Obama's speech. If you watch nothing from last night, that's what you need to watch. It was a black moment. We were sitting our black asses down, listening to black ass Michelle and Barack talk about the white man trying to get this black ass job. That's what we was doing last night. That's what we was all watching. We all listen. I'm gonna tell you why black people love. You know why us black people we love Barack and Michelle so much? It's because many of us in the black delegation, a lot of us in the black delegation did not grow up with a mom and dad like a Barack and Michelle. So we would live vicariously through characters like Claire and Heathcliff Huxtable and other black families where you had the mom and dad there. And so when Barack and Michelle came and you saw this genuine black love, adoration for each other, just wholesome, good black family love, it's insatiable. And that's why us black people, we love it. We'll follow them over the cliff if we need to. They can do no wrong in our book. And if you talk about them, we will cut you. We will cut the shit out of you, because many of us, that's mom and dad for a lot of black people. Some of us who may even be older than them, you still feel like that's mom and dad right there. That's what it's about. That's what the ancestors fought for us to be able to do that. experience and demonstrate true black love and lead this whole country, the country that we built and didn't get paid for. hmm So it was a moment. Us as black people, we loved it. We don't know when we'll ever see it again, but we loved it. We loved it. Anyway, we love you. Right, black excellence at its finest. We love y'all. We got to get to some more sugar spiky news. I don't want to be out here too long because like I said, we'll be back on at 8:30. So if you live in the great state of Alabama, come to the front. All of my Alabamans, come to the front. Where's Harold? Harold. DJ Cassidy should play Nuck If You Buck. That would have been good. That would have been so good. So I got a news story from Alabama. Now here's some good news from Alabama. So the racist, discriminatory Alabama legislature was trying to do what they do, which is suppress black voting and stop people from voting, because Alabama and Mississippi has the highest concentrations of black people in all of America, of any state, and can easily be flipped if they would stop suppressing the votes. But it's still Alabama and Mississippi. Anyway, Alabama, their legislature passed a law expanding the list of felonies that cause a person to lose their right to vote. And that law is supposed to go be enacted on October 1st. However, the ACLU and other entities, they sued Alabama because in the Alabama Constitution, it says that there's a provision that prohibits new election laws from taking effect within 6 months of the general election. So even though they thought they were slick and gonna get this on the books and purge a lot of other people from voting, and purge some people from voting prior to the general election in November, even the racist ass Alabama Supreme Court said, yeah, you kind of can't do that. And so those, even if you have a felony that falls on the list, that falls under that new law where there's a new list of felonies that removes your right to vote, you can still vote in the November election. The reason that I'm bringing this up is, you know how these people are. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you. They're going to say, oh, this is the new law of the land. And the new law says that you can't vote because of this new law, when the Alabama Supreme Court actually has stated that that's not true. They cannot tell you that you cannot vote if you fall under that new law. Oh, so you decide to fall out the bushes now here when I'm talking about Alabama? Hey. So if you know anybody that lives in Alabama and may fall under this category, tell them, even if they tell you that they can't vote, tell them, give me a provisional ballot. Let me vote with the provisional ballot, and then we'll sort it out on the back end. But a lot of times you go somewhere, you go to your polling station, they say, oh, you can't vote, or oh, you don't have the right to vote, or oh, this is wrong, that is wrong. You can always request a provisional ballot and vote with that provisional ballot. And what will happen is, when it goes back, and the election supervisor or the individuals responsible for certifying elections, they will go through and they will work through all of the things in the background that will make that determination as to whether or not that vote truly can be counted. But what they want you to do is, they just want you to walk away angry, broke down, busted, disgusted, and dissatisfied, and disenfranchised and not vote. So, and like I said, even though the Alabama Supreme Court came out and said that's not legal, you cannot tell those people they can't vote in November. Please believe that will not be publicized. And another thing, I have not heard, I haven't seen, I only saw this in 2 places. I haven't seen this on mainstream political websites and blogs. And so this is something that certainly needs more of our attention, because what they want to do is they want to suppress our vote. So once again, that new law in Alabama that's supposed to expand the list of felonies that remove your right to vote, even though it's supposed to go into effect October 1st, it will not apply for the November 5th election. And the Alabama Supreme Court upheld that. So that's some news. If you got people in Alabama, let them know that. In more news, sugar spiky news, that is, I saw this story, and this story is not getting enough traction. Y'all have a seat. Y'all sit down. Class, pupils, sit down. Let me give you this story. I have not heard enough about this story on mainstream news, and I need this everywhere. I don't know if y'all heard about what's going on at University of Missouri, but let me read this to you. This is at the University of Missouri. A black student group at a flagship Missouri university that was roiled by protests over race nearly a decade ago said it was forced to rename an upcoming barbecue the Welcome Black and Gold Barbecue instead of the Welcome Black Barbecue. Let me say that again. Let me read this and we'll keep going. The Legion of Black Collegians at the University of Missouri said in a post on Instagram that it spent months fighting the decision and was heartbroken. The university defended the change in a statement, saying the modification made to reflect that the campus is welcoming to all. Quote, in striving for an inclusive university, we must not exclude or give impressions that we are excluding individuals with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives, end of quote. And that's according to university spokesperson Christopher Abe. The Legion of Black Collegians started in 1968 after the song Dixie was played at a football game while students waved a Confederate flag. The group explained on its website, the song Dixie celebrates life in the Old South and originated in blackface minstrel shows. Critics have said the term is racially insensitive. The group describes itself as, quote, the only black student government in the nation, end of quote, and said all other schools have a black student union or a black student alliance. The group said in the Instagram post that the barbecue is a staple for incoming and returning black students. At one point, it considered canceling the event, but now is encouraging members to attend on Friday and resist, quote, any further changes to our fundamental programming, end of quote. They went on, members of the group said in their Instagram quote post, we are looking into all avenues to never allow this to happen again. If it does, rest assured the Legion will have nothing to do with it. The erasure of the names and visibility of our events will continue to erode our presence on this campus, and we plan to do everything we can to divest from that, end of quote. The name change dust up comes after massive protests erupted in 2015 on the Columbia campus over the administration's handling of racial slurs and other racist acts. More than 30 black football team members said they wouldn't play until the university's president was removed, and one student went on a hunger strike. Listen, here's what you got going on. The black student, they say it's their black student government, but it's the equivalent of the Black Student Union at University of Missouri. They have a barbecue welcoming the black students every year. It's called the Welcome Black Barbecue. Well, the university said, "Oh, we got a problem with that. Hey, Monk Chip, what's going on? We got a problem with that because it sounds like it's not inclusive of all students, and why are you excluding students from it? And you need to have something that is inclusive of all students, and not and have forced them to change the name to the Welcome Black and Gold Barbecue because the school colors are black and gold. But the Legion of Black Collegians said, no, we don't want to change it. It's always been that, and it's going to stay that. Here's the issue that I have for all of these. I'm sorry, I gotta cuss a little bit. Hold on, because I might spike out. For all of you motherfuckers out here talking about y'all getting rid of DEI, y'all getting rid of DEI offices, y'all getting rid of DEI personnel, saying, no, we want no parts of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and firing people wholesale, saying you want no parts of it, and then you have an organization out here minding their own black business, doing what the fuck they need to do, welcoming black students, and now you tell them, oh, you can't have a program or an organization that is not inclusive of everyone. So you want DEI when it's a black organization, but if it's a white organization, you don't want no DEI. This is the fuck shit that I'm talking about, and the reason that I'm mad that I am not hearing more about this. Now, this is what black people don't want. Y'all not gonna want to hear this as black people, and I don't give a shit. Get mad. Click off. I don't care. Here's what a lot of people don't tell you. Yes, we have our HBCUs. Yes, we love our HBCUs. Yes, our HBCUs are celebrated and heralded. But please understand, there's also a faction of black students that do go to predominantly white institutions, and they need love and support as well. We cannot just go out there and say, oh, HBCU, HBCU, HBCU. Let's think about those students, neglecting the fact that there are black students that go to PWIs for a myriad of reasons. It could be financial. It could be because they were given scholarships. It could be because of the degree program offerings that they have there. But there are a myriad of reasons that black students go there. And those black students need the same amount of support, the same amount of dollars, the same amount of people mentioning them and talking about their plight as you have going on at the HBCUs, probably even much so, because they do have to endure these things, because they are smaller in numbers, and because white people and white institutions such as this get away with this kind of fuck shit all of the time. They go about doing this by saying, we'll remove your scholarship, we'll suspend you from school, when all of these kids are trying to do is go to school and get a fucking education. And what happens is they get swept under, their plight gets swept under the rug. It happens in the cloak of darkness, because these white institutions know most of the black people, most of the people on mainstream media, when they talk about kids in college, they ain't talking about the ones at the PWIs. They only think that black students only go to HBCUs. Meanwhile, at the PWIs, these black students are enduring all types of injustices, all types of atrocities, all types of things you can't even imagine, and have to do it and suffer in silence. And enough is enough. I'm sorry. It is what it is. All of our black students in college need our support, whether they're at an HBCU or whether they're at a PWI. And the fact that these students are being done this way and being forced to do this, and you may look at it like, well, El Teddy, it's not that big of a deal. They just telling them to change the name of it. It's not going to stop there. You know how these institutions are. It's a fucking slippery slope. They're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you have what's going on in Florida now, where they're doing away with all organizations at all universities that have anything to do with blackness. And that includes at institutions like a FAMU that's a predominantly black college, that's an HBCU, and being told they have to do away with or organizations and programs that are centered around only black people because they did away with DEI. This is the fuck shit. David said he's the leader of a black employee resource group at his job. And they were told they could no longer block non-black people from joining anymore because of possible lawsuits and discrimination. This is the fuck shit that we got going on. This is the fuck shit that we got going on. We be over here minding our goddamn business, not bothering a damn person. Doing what, just over here, not bothering nobody, doing what the fuck we got to do. And now all of a sudden, it's a problem. And the organization said they've been having this barbecue for years and years and years. And now all of a sudden, see, this is what we're talking about. This is why it's so dangerous when you have mainstream media and pundits and curmudgeons all over the place with these fucking we talked about that, Harold. See, when you come late to class, you start dropping side notes, and we already talked about this earlier in class. If you come to class on time, you won't miss the fact that we talked about that, Harold. Anyway, but we did talk about that, Harold. We did. But my point is, when you start hearing them throwing out these terms, at first it was CRT, and then it became DEI, and before that it was woke. When they start having these terms, other ways of calling us the N-word, we know what it is, we see what it is, and when you let it live, it then starts to cut into the fabric of who we are, allowing us to be. Hey SJ, hey, yeah, I'm from Texas, and allowing us to do what we need to do. It stops us from simply being able to go about, life as normal. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent on that, but I'm not hearing enough about this story, and we in our black circles need to support these kids, need to make sure that our focus for our black students in college is not just on black students at HBCUs. It has to be on all of our black students on all campuses, whether or not it's an HBCU or PWI. Let me move on before I get upset. See, now I got to get even more fucking upset. I'm just going from one sugar spiky story to the next goddamn sugar spiky story. Well, we're here now. That young man that you see, let me not make him big. Let me make these people. Let me make these people smaller. Dear God above, that young man you see right there is Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Let me read. Let me read this story for you. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's office executed search warrants in one of the state's largest urban counties, the biggest Democratic and one of the biggest Democratic strongholds, which it alleges vote tampering. On Tuesday, the Attorney General's office searched offices in Bexar County, the state's fourth most populous county and the home of San Antonio. The Attorney General's office said the searches followed a 2-year investigation and that, quote, secure elections are the cornerstone of our republic, end of quote. The searches came amid a broad push by Attorney General Paxton to prosecute election fraud, a campaign that in 2023 spent $2.3 million to prosecute just 4 cases. Quote, we are completely committed committed to protecting the security of the ballot box and the integrity of every legal vote. This means ensuring accountability for anyone committing election crimes. End of quote. The office said the case was referred by State District Attorney Audrey Lewis, a conservative Republican whose district is next to Bexar County, but her district does not include Bexar County. Lewis made the referral in 2022 after an unanimous 2021 ruling by the Court of Criminal Appeals. Appellate court judges found that Paxton could not unilaterally investigate election crimes and required him to only prosecute such cases in conjunction with a local DA, a ruling that drove Paxton to urge supporters to flood the court with calls. The Court of Criminal Appeals shameful decision means local DAs with radical liberal views have the sole power to prosecute election fraud in Texas, which they will never do. End of quote. Audrey Lewis, who unseated Democratic incumbent Renee Pena, her former boss, fired her let me read this again. Audrey Lewis, who unseated Democratic incumbent Renee Pena, her former boss, in 2016. Pena, her former boss, fired her hours after she announced her candidacy. Let me say that again. She was fired by her former boss hours after she announced her candidacy. Let me break this down and tell y'all what this is about. Here's what's happening. Audrey Lewis doesn't live in Bexar County. She lives in a Republican county next to Bexar County. Bexar County includes San Antonio. What we have happening now is this. The Court of Criminal Appeals in Texas said that Ken Paxton cannot unilaterally just roll up into elections offices and accuse them of fraud. He has to do that in conjunction with a district attorney, filing paperwork and complaints saying that happened. And so now he has asked all of the Republican district attorneys to go and file complaints against Democratic districts, even if they live in there or not, and claim that there may be election fraud, which would then activate his office where they can go in and execute search warrants and go through tearing stuff up, saying that, oh, there must be election fraud in this state. That's what we have going on. All of this is happening ahead of the 2024 elections, setting up, look at the setup now, setting up the grounds for having people in those Democratic bases or those Democrat centers like Bexar County, where San Antonio is, Harris County, where Houston is, Dallas County, where Dallas is, or over there where Austin is. I forgot what county that is with Austin, but setting all of this up before the 2024 elections. All of this is going on right now. Mind you, Attorney General Ken Paxton is a known sex offender, a known person who went to court and was convicted. Mind you, they had a vote to have him impeached and removed from the office of Attorney General, and he almost lost because there were Republicans in the Texas House and the Texas Senate that voted to remove him, but him and Governor Hot Wheels had enough cronies. Thank you, Travis County, in Austin, Texas. Him and Governor Hot Wheels over there had enough political power and wherewithal to get and force Republicans to keep a known sex offender in as the goddamn attorney general of the fucking state of Texas. Tell me how the fuck that shit makes sense. I just want to know how that makes sense. I just want to know how this makes any sense. The fucking attorney general. This is what we got going on. This is what we got going the fuck on. So you see the corruption. It starts from the top down. It's the fucking attorney general of Texas, a known sex offender, a known criminal, who just by a few votes was almost not only impeached but removed from office. And now you still sitting at the attorney general's desk, wielding power, flexing on people, over here telling people what they are and are not doing that's wrong. You're the top cop in fucking Texas. Make this shit make sense. But this is what we got going on the conservative side. This is the bullshit that we got going on. This is why I talk about in states like Texas, what you have to do. There's two ways. Well, there's not only two ways to do it, but two ways that you can do this, because you got to change this shit. Because if you expect any of these people to do any fighting for black people, you're fooling yourselves. They want no part. If Texas left to itself, Texas would succeed from these yet to be United States of America. They've already threatened it. When you go to school in Texas, you are forced to learn Texas history before you're forced to learn U.S. history. And I'm telling you, because I have certification in Texas, U.S. history is an elective. Texas history is not. You must have Texas history to graduate. You do not need U.S. history to graduate. I'm just telling you what I know. They would secede from the union, left to themselves. Now, I got to move on because I might spike out. Oh, God, it just keeps getting worse. Dear God, help me, Lord. Why do I have to see this whore? Well, this is some good news, some good sugar spiky news. In the great state of New York, who is this whore bitch? That would be Republican Representative Elise Stefanik. That bitch ain't shit. Let me just be clear. That bitch right there ain't shit. She ain't shit. I'm just going full stop. You're right, Melly. White Texas history. This whore right here, Elise Stefanik, ain't shit. Hard stop. She's a member of Congress, a Republican member of Congress, representing a district in the great state of New York. Well, she got bust across the head. New York Supreme Court did the right thing. Well, New York's Court of Appeals, excuse me. New York Court of Appeal ruled 6-1 that New York's Early Mail Voter Act, which allows registered voters to submit ballots early by mail in any election where they are eligible to vote, can stand. The measure was signed into law by Governor Hochul last year. However, Representative Elise Stefanik and a lot of her other Republican fucktards challenged it in a lawsuit that was led by Elise Stefanik. Well, it failed, and now you can vote early by mail in the great state of Texas, even in this elections, because what they want is they want to suppress and stifle anyone that is Democrat from voting. Here's the deal. You would think, but this is New York. There's, it's overwhelmingly blue. Not so fast. New York is turning increasingly red. Now, I'm not saying it's going to turn purple yet, but in some stalwart areas that were blue, those areas have flipped and turned red. And it's the fault of the Democratic Party. When the Democratic Party in the great state of New York did their redistricting, what they saw was a lot of a surge in progressive people running for elections and nominees. And what they were trying to do was the Democratic Party was trying to thwart that wave of progressive members coming into Congress by carving out a map that was more inclined to lean middle establishment Dems. While they did that, what they did was they made those districts more red, and in several cases in New York, districts ended up being flipped, and New York lost about 6 or 7 seats. The Dems lost about 6 or 7 seats in New York because of that stupid ass redistricting, because we've talked extensively about how the stupid ass Democratic Party got a issue with anybody that's progressive, and they do anything they can to keep progressives out. And in them trying to do that, we talked about this on this channel back in 2022 when it happened. They lost several seats. That's why the Dems don't have the House right now, because of the state of New York. Other states gained blue seats, but New York didn't hold its end of the bargain because they were trying to hate on the progressives. And by doing that, they carved out a map that was more advantageous to center of the road Republicans, because a center of the middle of the road Republican looks the same as an establishment or centrist Democrat these days. I'm just saying. Thank you, Monk Chip. If you are going to vote in primaries, I know yesterday was a primary in my great state of Florida. Make sure they have you under the right party. Check your voter registration card, and you can check on your there should be ways for you to check online within your state to make sure all of your stuff is correct. But yeah, so the efforts of fuck bitch Elise Stefanik did not go through, and you can do early voting by mail in the great state of Texas. The next 3 stories are quite sugar spiky. I'm just warning you. The last of the sugar spiky story is real triggering. I will warn you before we get to that story. This story made me upset. I'm going to try not to spike out. Listen to this. A man who was charged with a hate crime for allegedly disrupting a middle school class field trip to accost a black boy and start a racist confrontation has been declared incompetent to stand trial. Let me read this again. A man who was charged with a hate crime for allegedly disrupting a middle school class field trip to accost a black boy and start a racist confrontation has been declared incompetent to stand trial. Paul Jonathan Bittner was charged after the incident on June 12th in Bellingham, Washington. Authorities say Bittner, who is white, started walking alongside a group of students and teachers from Whatcom Middle School who had just finished a field trip in downtown Bellingham. According to court documents, he walked directly in front of the 11-year-old black student, then suddenly turned around and punched the 11-year-old black student in the face, chipping the boy's tooth in the process. I'm trying not to get spike out, y'all. I'm trying not to spike out. I'm trying. He also asked the boy, quote, "Are you going to talk to a white man like that?" End of quote. I'm doing the best I can, y'all. I'm doing the best I can. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. Y'all just pray my strength in the Lord. I get through this story. School staff members immediately separated Bittner from the students. He was arrested shortly after the incident. Bittner was charged with second-degree assault of a child and a hate crime, which accuses him of, quote, maliciously and intentionally assaulting a person because of the perception of their race, end of quote. He pleaded not guilty to both felonies at an arraignment in June. In July, Bittner's attorney notified the court that he had good faith belief that Bittner would be unable to assist in his own defense and was unfit to proceed to trial in his case. After the judge overseeing the case ordered Bittner to undergo a competency evaluation, Bittner was evaluated by a neuropsychologist named Dr. John Neer. Bittner told Neer that he started receiving mental health and disability services in 2009 after being diagnosed with schizophrenia. He denied having a history of substance abuse issues, but also attended substance abuse treatment for personal reasons. You ain't got no substance abuse issues, but you go to substance abuse treatment for personal reasons, right? Records prove that Bittner received mental health treatment from March 2019 to April 2023 at a forensic state psychiatric hospital in California, which treats many patients sent there by county courts or the State Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Bittner is originally from California and moved to Washington State only a few years ago. Dr. Neer noted that Bittner was manic and verbally impulsive and psychotic throughout the evaluation, and at times was loud and verbally aggressive. Dr. Neer also believed Bittner was responding to internal stimuli and hallucinating through parts of the assessment after noticing that he was, quote, smiling and laughing in an odd manner, end of quote, and would abruptly shift to spacing off. According to the doctor's review, it was unclear whether Bittner understood his charges when asked about them, even though Dr. Neer believed Bittner likely had a general understanding of the legal process. He noted that it was, quote, clear that Bittner's ability to have a rational reciprocal dialogue is rather impaired due to his impulsivity and heightened emotions, end of quote. Dr. Neer diagnosed Bittner with bipolar type schizoaffective disorder and determined he would benefit from inpatient psychiatric treatment that could potentially reduce his current medical health related symptoms. At his competency hearing on August 1st, the judge determined that Bittner was incompetent to stand trial because he could not assist in his own defense. Bittner was ordered to receive 90 days of inpatient competency restoration treatment at a state psychiatric hospital before his treatment period ends, and he is transferred back to jail. His competency will be reevaluated. Once those findings are released to the court, the judge will determine whether Bittner will receive more treatment or return to the jail and move the case forward. Listen, y'all. As a teacher, no longer in the classroom, but I promise you, me and my crew that I roll with, if we're on a fucking field trip and some white ass man, first of all, we're not gonna even let you come by our students. That's first of all. But second of all, you come by our student to the point where you stand in front of this little 11-year-old black boy, punch him in the face, chip his tooth, and then have the audacity to say, quote, "Are you going to talk to a white man like that?" End of quote. Baby, God Almighty himself would still be trying to drag us off of his ass. Me and all of the teachers involved, God Almighty himself would still be trying to drag us off of his ass. I'm just telling you what I know. I'm just telling you what I know. This is one of those cases where you ever see those court cases where the family jump over the little banister and start wailing on the defendant. This one of them cases where I need to see that. Because please be clear, if I'm the judge, I say hold off for a little bit, bailiff. Let him get a couple more in, bailiff. Let him get a couple more in there. All right, you go get him now. I'm just saying, fuck his ass up. Listen, I don't care what type of psychiatric episodes that he's having. I don't care how manic you tell me he is. I don't give a damn. Because let's be clear, how I know you know what you're doing, it'd be one thing if he just hit the boy and just started screaming nonsensical things. But the fact that you said, are you going to talk to a white man like that? And here's another thing, and it's been chronicled since the beginning of time. There are many, many, many criminals who can play that shit off and just all of a sudden turn the light switch on, and now they're manic and schizophrenic for the purposes of not going to jail. I'm just trying to tell you what I know. But I promise you, me and my crew, we'll still be whooping his ass right now. Hell, the kids that we have, they would have been whooping that. They would have been whooping that white man ass before the teachers would have even got a chance to get to him. The kids would have been whooping his ass. Do you hear me? Child. You say that's full in Washington, so they let them go. Well, the good thing is the judge say he's not going to let him go. When he is clear, he going right back to jail, and they're going to proceed with the trial. So that's the one good thing. Only thing crazy was that mouth. He isn't manic at all. Exactly. These people have lost their goddamn minds. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you what I know. You fully endorsing ass kicking L up. I'm trying to tell you. He exactly, Monk Chap. He was very sane. That's one of them cases. We'll need your help. We don't need you to help with this defense. We ain't gonna even put you on the stand. Just sit your ass there and shut the fuck up. We got this. Let me move on before I spike out. Now, here's the case of sometimes black people, every job ain't the job you want. Sometimes you just got to say no to a job. Being black in America, you learn you just can't say yes to every job. Let me read this case to you. Lamon Simpson, age 31, took the job in the mostly white town of Rivesville, a population of 830, in September of 2021, becoming the town's first full-time police chief, and at that time, its only police officer. It's a town of 830. The town is in West Virginia. They only have one police officer who happens to be him, and he then becomes the police chief. Let me continue reading this because the story gets better. Early on, town officials lauded his performance. Councilman Frank Moore, quote, spoke approvingly of Simpson, end of quote, at a town meeting in February of 2022. Quote, he's displayed that he really wants to be a member of this community. He's making an effort visiting schools. He's out talking to kids, and he's doing a good job. Being a police officer today is not easy. End of quote. And that's what Councilman Frank Moore said. However, it didn't stay that nice. In a conversation with Mayor Barbara Beatty, at the town hall, she indicated to Officer Simpson, quote, that if he could not handle being called the N-word, he should reconsider his position because he was going to hear that term during his employment. End of quote. That's what the mayor told him. At least that's what he wrote in his court complaint and filings with the that he against the city of Rivesville in the Marion County Circuit Court. Let me read that again. What the mayor said to him. Mayor Barbara Beatty said to him at the town hall. She indicated to Officer Simpson, quote, that if he could not handle being called the N-word, he should reconsider his position because he was going to hear that term. He was going to hear this term during his employment, end of quote. As he continued in his position, more discriminatory comments were made by town officials. His complaint states that in his presence, Rivesville Town Council member Michelle Bradley told the mayor, quote, I wish we could go back to the way policing was done in the 1960s. And sought a, end of quote. The lawsuit also argues that, quote, they, quote, sought a return to the 1960s era in which African Americans were assaulted and otherwise discriminated against by police, end of quote. In February of 2022, Officer Simpson received a call on his work cell phone. The unidentified caller remarked along the lines of, is this the N-word, chief? This means war, end of quote. And that's according to the lawsuit. Officer Simpson filed a report with the West Virginia State Police about the incident when he began parking his cruiser and personal vehicle in the local garage instead of the street out of fear that his vehicle would be vandalized. He told the mayor that the racially threatening call was the reason he started parking his vehicle in the local garage instead of on the street. He says the lawsuit alleges, quote, in response, Mayor Beatty merely responded, oh, okay, and did not inquire further or take any action, end of quote. Tensions in Rivesville Town Hall were ratcheted up after an incident in May of 2022 when Officer Simpson initiated a traffic stop on the mother of the Rivesville Town Clerk, Erica Corwin. The complaint states that the woman was sitting in an SUV illegally parked in the street outside of an abandoned house, suspected of drug activity, and that Officer Simpson observed a man walking from her car to the house. When he approached and asked her for her ID, the man, quote, became belligerent and yelled, you don't have to talk to him, and you are harassing us, end of quote. Officer Simpson recognized the man as Joshua Wolf, a person suspected of drug activity by state police. Officer Simpson issued a warning to the female driver and permitted both her and Mr. Wolf to leave the scene. A few days later at the town hall, he says Miss Corwin complained about him pulling over her mother, telling him, quote, she didn't feel comfortable working with him if he was going to be stopping her family, end of quote. Later that day, Officer Simpson informed the town council member and the mayor about the conversation with Miss Corwin. According to the lawsuit, Mayor Beatty indicated that Rivesville did not want to lose a good worker such as Clerk Corwin. Officer Simpson indicated in response that he did not desire that Clerk Corwin lose her job, but he felt obligated to report the events in question, end of quote. This just gets worse and worse. On July 6, 2022, Officer Simpson was fired. Two town council men greeted him at the town hall with a letter. They waited for him at the door. The letter stated, quote, you are being terminated and your services are no longer needed, end of quote. Dear God. I'm laughing to keep from cussing. According to the lawsuit, when asked the reason for his termination, Officer Simpson was told a reason did not need to be provided. Miss Corwin, the lady whose mother was pulled over, who happens also to be white, remained employed at that time, the lawsuit alleges. Officer Simpson was wrongfully fired in retaliation for rightfully taking action in response to conduct exhibited by the family member of the defendant's town official clerk Corwin, excuse me. And that's according to the lawsuit. This is a mess. It goes on and on, y'all. On and on. They, I mean, it's so. This is a. I don't want to read it all because we ain't got the type of time. But there are so many things that these people did to him. They got stuff for people going, standing outside his house, from them vandalizing his car, from um things and he was supposed to be given a $1,000 line. He was approved for a $1,000 line of credit, and then the white man saying, "Yeah, you don't need that," and lowering it to $300. Um, it just goes on. It involves money. It involves vandalism. It involves them threatening them. It's just a mess. A mess. This proves you just can't take jobs anywhere. The man just was over there trying to do his black job, and y'all was harassing this man. First of all, I'm not going to work in no city in fucking West Virginia where it's less than 1,000 people that live there. That just don't sound like the safest of places. I'm just gonna be honest. And you the only police officer, the only one. Listen. I'll make a believer out of them. I shoot all them bastards. Just like they say the white people can shoot people. The white police officers can shoot everybody with reckless abandon and have nothing happen to them. I shoot all they black asses. I mean, all they white asses. All of them. Officer Simpson, if you need, you can come over here and we can have a conversation. We could talk about that for a little bit because you look real cute over there with that smile, Officer Simpson. You can come over here. We can have a whole conversation. I got you, bro. I can help you out. Just come on right on over here. Come right over here, Officer Simpson. I got you. Don't worry about it. Just come on over here. Just come. Come over here. Let's have a conversation. I got what you need over here. I can help you out. I can help you out. I'm just saying. Now, this is your trigger warning. If you are squeamish, if you are triggered by violence against children, this is your trigger warning. Go grab a drink, grab something to eat. See us back here in about 5 or 6 minutes, okay? This is your trigger warning. Of course, we putting footprints on ceilings. Monk Chip. Anyway, yes, this is your warning. This is your one warning. If you are easily triggered, now is the time for you to go fix you something to eat and all of that good stuff, and see us back here in about 5 good minutes. I'm just giving you your trigger warning now. I'm going to try to make it through this story without losing my goddamn mind, okay? I'm going to make it through this story. I saw this story on Monday. I was supposed to report on it on Monday, and then I said, no, I can't do it. And we didn't have a Run Your Mouth yesterday. So here we are today. I'm going to do my best, y'all. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. Here's the headline. I'm not going to read the headline. Let me just read the story because it's a lot. It's been 1 week since Chandra Weekly's 12-year-old son was found unresponsive with his mouth foaming after leaving school in suburban Dallas, and she still hasn't received any answers as to what happened to him. But her son, Tristan Weekly, remains hospitalized in the intensive care unit after a toxicologist determined the boy had ingested acetone, a chemical compound used in nail polish remover and paint thinner, which can cause drowsiness and confusion in human beings if ingested in large amounts. All she knows is what her son told her hours after he had been found and transported to the hospital. The mom says Tristan told her he had been approached by a woman inside Western Middle School in Frisco, who offered him ice cream. But when he declined her offer, the woman smashed the ice cream into his face. Quote, my son stated that a woman approached him by the bathroom inside of the school, end of quote, Miss Weekly explained in a video interview. Quote, my son said she approached him inside the school and she asked him to come here. And he said she wasn't a teacher, but she does work for the school. End of quote. Miss Weekly says a school security camera shows her son was in the cafeteria minutes before class was dismissed at 3:45 p.m. before walking out of the school and removing his backpack, allowing it to fall on the ground. He then started running in one direction before changing course and running in another direction. He was found collapsed on someone's front porch about a 20-minute walk away from the school in a completely different direction from their home. Quote, help me, I don't know anyone, is what he told the residents of the home before collapsing. End of quote. And that's according to Miss Weekly in the interview that she gave. She said she had retained an attorney, but numerous she says she has retained an attorney. However, local CBS Texas has reportedly reviewed Tristan's medical test records. Both Western Middle School and Frisco Police Department released statements on Monday confirming they are investigating the situation while insinuating that nothing criminal took place on campus, contradicting the boy's allegations that he was approached by a woman with ice cream inside the school. Here's an excerpt from a statement released by Frisco Police. Here's the excerpt. Quote, the investigation into this incident remains ongoing, and we are still trying to determine what transpired. Frisco PD was in contact with the family last week, and investigators, as well as our school resource officers, have spoken to them on a number of occasions and obtained a statement from the child. As part of the investigation, we hope to determine why he chose to leave campus after the bell, as opposed to going to meet his prearranged ride home. Frisco PD currently has no evidence yet to support anything criminal in this matter. End of quote. Here's the excerpt from Western Middle School Principal Katie Granado. Quote, in this case, our campus administration has worked in conjunction with the Frisco Police Department. At this time, there's limited information that we can share about any particular student due to privacy concerns, as well as an ongoing investigation by Frisco PD. However, we can share that evidence shows that student left the district property safely during dismissal and without concern. End of quote. Something obviously happened to this little boy. And as someone who's worked in public schools over a whole lot of years, I ain't gonna tell you how many years, okay? A school is responsible for a child from the time they leave that building, that school building, until the time that child enters their home. If something happens to that child on their way home, the school is still fucking responsible. That's all over the country. The school is responsible for a child until said child enters their domicile. So a lot of things are at play here. Schools that I know, you got cameras in the hallway. So where's the camera footage? Because all y'all are telling me, oh, he left the building before right after the bell. But show me, I need you to show me camera footage from the time he left the classroom, the time he went to the bathroom. I need all camera footage from the entire day all over the school. Give me all the footage from every camera all over the fucking school and surrounding the school for the entirety of the day. That's what I need. All of it. For the whole day. And even if you tell me nothing happened in the school, something happened between by the time he got to these people's house, and he passed the hell out and was foaming at the mouth and said, "Help me, I don't know anyone." And the boy is in ICU. And he got acetone in his goddamn system. I don't know little kids to be keeping fucking nail polish or paint thinner. I'm getting triggered. Let me stop. We're gonna monitor this situation. Morgan says she probably would have an arson charge on her record. Listen, let me tell you something. We burning everything down. We burning the fuck everything down. Somebody knows something. Somebody done seen something. Where the detectives doing some real detective work? Why? I listen. I would be going to every household between the fucking school and the house where they found him at and saying, "Hello, we're just looking to see if you have a ring camera or if you have any cameras around your home, because we're doing an investigation and we're really trying to find out what happened to this little boy." I'm just saying. I'm going to monitor this situation. This bothers me. My people out of the great state of Texas, I know sometimes you all get local. If you're in and around the Frisco or Dallas area, sometimes you all get local information faster than we may be able to get on the national level. So if anything comes out of that area, if you live in that area, anything comes out of that area, if you could shoot me, the article or the information, I'd love to see it. And things like that. But you need to go to every business around that school. You need to go to every home around that school. Somebody got a ring camera. Somebody got, cameras around their house. There's a business around there. You might even have the traffic camera from traffic lights and shit like that. Unacceptable. This boy over here in ICU, damn near on the brink of life. Hey, y'all like, oh, nothing to see here. He left the school, ain't our problem. No, bitch, it is your problem. Okay, Monk Chip, I ain't got no piece, ain't none. You other bastards about to have none either. Listen, but this is back to what I'm saying. They do not see the humanity in black bodies at all. Let me move on before I spike the fuck out. Lord. Steve Harvey finally did something good. Let me take that back. Steve Harvey is not as bad as people make Steve Harvey out to be. So people were saying that he pocketed that he was given $10,000 to endorse Kamala Harris, right? And Steve Harvey came right out and said, "No, they offered me a goddamn thing." And as a matter of fact, the black vote is not for sale. He vehemently denied that he was paid to support the Democratic nominee Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. Yeah. This comes this comes after y'all's boy Dr. Umar Johnson accused Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley of accepting payments to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris. This is the fuck shit. See, what angers me a lot of times is these people just throw shit out there, having no basis for it, having no credibility at all, knowing that there's a faction of individuals that's just going to take it and run with it and use it like it's gospel and say, "Oh, yep, got to be true." Dr. Umar Johnson said, "Oh, yeah, it's got to be true." I told y'all on Monday, Dr. Umar Johnson is no more than the black Donald Trump in that he just spews out a bunch of fuck shit and lies, and there's a faction of the black community separated from reality that just believes anything that bastard says. I just don't understand how people even listen to him. Okay, I gotta move on. Thank you for clearing that up, Steve Harvey. But the fact that you even had to do that is beyond my level of comprehension. In other news, if you are a male in the building and you have a twig and berries, this trigger warning for all men who have a twig and berries. I'm just giving you your trigger warning now. Men in the building, this is your trigger warning. Don't say I did not warn you. A man in Thailand is living out a real life horror story. Tanat Tang Tetuanan is telling the world about his unbelievably terrifying story. He posted, there's a video that he posted of him grabbing a python with blood all over the bathroom floor. Well, apparently, he sat down on the toilet and suddenly a vicious snake came through the hole of the toilet and bit him on his nutsacks. Oh, yeah. He said he woke up Sunday morning at 10 a.m., went into the bathroom to go use the bathroom. He said he first flushed the toilet to make sure there was no unwanted surprises because monsoons often bring reptiles out of the depths and they can get into the toilet. And then he sat down on the toilet. Well, according to him, he felt a sharp pain in his testicles and realized something had sunk its teeth into his testicles. He immediately spotted the culprit. The terrifying snake had its fangs still dug into his scrotum. Oh, God, I can't read this. Oh. Oh. I can't. Oh. I'm trying to make it through. Oh. He said he firmly grabbed the snake and tried to rip it out of the toilet, but it was too strong and stayed locked in place. Freaking out, he said he scanned the room and zeroed in on a toilet brush which he used to brutally beat the snake until it finally went limp and died. He then asked the neighbor to bring him to the hospital so he could get tested and receive medical treatment. Now he says he feels fine, and so do his testicles. He also has snake bite wounds on his groin that he's also nursing. The snake was non-venomous. I just can't. Nope. I don't listen. I'm from a place adjacent to Florida, Complex 613. I'm from Miami, which is adjacent to Florida, and we have a lot, and which is right next to the Everglades. We have a lot of pythons and reptiles. I ain't never seen no goddamn snake come through the toilet in Miami ever in my life. And the moment that it does, it's gonna be a problem. Like, that's not even a thing for us to say, oh, make sure you flush the toilet twice because you don't know what you're going to find in the toilets. We just don't have them issues. And we have hurricanes and still don't have those issues. I don't know. But I'm from Miami, which is adjacent to Florida. And we right there in the Everglades. We don't have them problems. I'm just saying. I can't even imagine. Listen, y'all, I saw the video. I can't imagine. Y'all, I saw it. Go with God, sir. Go with somebody. Go to a hospital. Go do something. Anyway, So I saw all over the blogs about Nelly and Ashanti's child, but I was like, wait a minute, they had the child like a month ago. Well, apparently Ashanti is, taking her first pictures since she had the child. I don't know why the blogs were abuzz about these people having a baby, and the baby is like a month old almost. I think the baby is like a month old. Because I remember when we went to the Janet Jackson concert, it was around that time. That was the middle of July. It was around that time they had the baby. Child. Nothing to see here. Moving on. Oh, girl. Girl, we ain't got enough of you. Girl, oh, God. I'm about sick of her. America's flatulence. Urgh. Sexy Red. She's in the news because they're saying that she's discreetly canceling multiple tour stops. Let me read this to you. Sexy Red's presence in hip hop is very strong, but it's taking a hit right now, according to some digging into the situation. Sexy Red is already having to cancel a handful of shows for her second headlining tour. Sexy Red for President is supposed to get the tour is called Sexy Red for President, and it is supposed to get underway tomorrow, August 22nd in Seattle, Washington. Sadly, though, that won't be happening. Additionally, her stops in Portland on August 23rd and Oakland on August 26th are also canceled. So with that known, she will not be hitting the road until Saturday, August 24th in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. What's pretty interesting here is that the hit maker did not make any announcements on her social media. There's nothing on X or Instagram, and it's got some fans reacting pretty sourly. And then they show all of the fans' reactions. You wanted to tell us about your booty hole. Hold on. You wanted to tell us all about your booty hole brown lip gloss, your gonorrhea green lip gloss, your sex on my period lip gloss. You thought we wanted to know all about that shit, right? But you didn't think people wanted to know that you done canceled tour dates and some of these people done bought tickets. You want to tell us about gonorrhea green lipstick, right? But not the fact that your tour dates are canceled and we might have bought tickets. I'm just trying to see where our priorities are. Well, apparently she'll be in Atlanta at the State Farm Arena. Y'all going on over there and see her. Let me know how that works out. There's a demographic in Atlanta that loves this whore. So I expect it to be a full house. Do you see the demographics of these people here? There's a reason the Centers for Disease Control is headquartered in Atlanta, because there are people that adore people like this whore. I gotta move on. I ain't got this type of time. Go with God, ma'am. Omarion is in the news. Now, when I saw this, Omarion is saying that he's been celibate for 3 years. Sir, if you celibate, I buy a bit. But that's a whole different, we'll talk about that later. Now, the man said that he has been celibate for 3 years. Well, I don't think he's celibate no more. Well, maybe he is. Let me read this. The singer stopped by Andre Ducombe's Know Thyself podcast yesterday and reflected on the ways in which his celibacy journey has affected his mental, physical, and spiritual health. Quote, that was an interesting time. I kind of took it on as a challenge. When I decided to become celibate, it was because I was really just searching for something more for myself. At the time, I was practicing Christianity. I was really studying my Bible, and ultimately, it wasn't for me, but it allowed me to kind of step out of this world and have the responsibility of being a sex symbol and a young adult. In hindsight, it was preparing me for my contribution to music, me being integral in my words and what I'm saying, not having to live a double life. End of quote. I don't care about all of that, Omarion. I really don't. Now, um, at first I didn't believe it, but then I remembered. Remember, there were the stories about him having an adult circumcision because Omarion was uncircumcised and he wanted, to get, the snip and get circumcised, and he got a circumcision as an adult. Now, any credible doctor will tell you, where's Janae, my medical expert? A credible doctor will tell you adult circumcision is not a nice thing. It is a painful thing. It takes months for you to, for everything to heal up and for you to, get back to action after an adult circumcision. So he had the adult circumcision, and I'm sure the healing process for all of that probably made him be like, yeah, we ain't dipping spoons in no sugar bowls no time soon. And kind of once you kind of get the ball rolling with that, you just keep going on with it. He started reading the Bible and stuff. Now, I noticed that you said you ain't Christian no more. I did notice that, but I'm going to leave that alone. But he said he started reading the Bible and stuff like that. I'm guessing if you go and get your meat mutilated with adult circumcision, getting your meat mutilated, it could change you and make you not want to have sex no more. I mean, sir, I don't know what to tell you, sir. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe he's, they got a whole, position called sides where you ain't got to have sex. You got top, bottom, verse, and you got sides. Maybe he's a side. I don't know. Sir, go get you some, okay? I mean, you can still have sex. Somebody can, you ain't got to use your meat. You can have somebody use their meat on you. I'm just saying, go ahead and get you some. I mean, if you want, you can come over here. I can help you out. Just saying. No, not side piece. Side. Side is a position. You got tops, you got bottoms, you got verse, and then you got people who call themselves sides. Now, sides are people who don't want to do nothing. They don't want to penetrate. They don't want to get penetrated. They just want to lay there. That's what a side is. I don't understand that dumb shit either, but if they like it, I love it. If it's good for them, it's great for me. So I don't know what to tell you. Go with God. In our last story of the day, because we got to get out of here and get some rest so we can rest up before DNC tonight. In our last piece of the day, in our last story of the day, Uncle bitch ass nigga, Uncle fuck shit is back in the news. Who is Uncle fuck shit? I'm glad you asked. Uncle fuck shit, Uncle bitch ass nigga, Russell Simmons is back in the news. He was on Instagram Live and he addressed black people over what he sees as unwarranted backlash aimed at both himself and his celebrity friends. He said, quote, "Black people, did you forget that I got 10,000 black men out of jail and that I changed the factory farming industry forever? And that I registered more of you to vote than probably anybody you know? And I worked for Black Lives Matter and every moment that's helped and every movement that's helped our people, all of the women's rights and even gay rights movements that I did so much work for, to let them demonize me in such a way that my friends cannot visit me without you attacking them. but yet you stand next to Donald Trump. Knock it off. End of quote. He went on to say, quote, still to date, I have never spoken to a policeman about anything. I have never spoken to a judge, civil or criminal, about anything. From what I can tell, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, President Trump all have more credible claims against them than I do, if you ask Oprah. Again, I've never been charged with anything. Who took 9 lie detector tests, 7 of which were from the chairman of the Polygraph Association? Did Bill Clinton do that? Did Joe Biden do that? Did President Trump do that? Knock it off. End of quote. I don't know what y'all want from me. He talking to y'all. He's not talking to me. I don't got nothing to do with this man. He's talking to y'all. He ain't talking to me. I don't know what you want from me. I mean, inquiring minds want to know, sir, if you so innocent, if you so holier than thou, pious and self-righteous, why the fuck you move your ass over to a country that doesn't have any extradition laws, sir? Why the fuck you ain't still living in the great state of New York? Huh? Inquiring minds want to know. Since you innocent, since you comparing yourselves to the presidents of the United States, I'm just saying, who the fuck are you talking to? And why the fuck are you yelling at us, asking us what the problem is? The problem is you and not us. I don't know who the fuck you think you yelling at. I don't know who he's talking to y'all. He ain't talking to me because I don't got this type of time. Stay your ass the fuck over there in Bali, okay? I hope some rabid insect bites you and gives you some incurable disease or something. Leave us the fuck alone. Ain't nobody even mentioned you, okay? Ain't nobody was even thinking about you. But your biscuit bean head having ass over here coming at us sideways. Fuck you. Oh, biscuit bean having head having ass. Ain't nobody even thinking about you, sir. These people really be feeling themselves. These people really be feeling themselves. Sir, I promise you, we over here in the black delegation was not thinking about you at all. At all. Stay your ass over there and leave us the fuck alone. Sir, I don't have it to do with you, sir. Go with God. That's all we got for today's Run Your Mouth. Y'all know we'll be right back here at 8:30 tonight. Don't be late. Don't miss. Call all y'all people. Make sure they come over here. We have the best coverage of the DNC right over here. Listen, ain't nobody else giving you this type of coverage that we get over here for the DNC. I'm just telling you what I know. Hell, I think Quake, was that you telling us that PBS was purposely leaving all of the black speakers out on Monday? We'll have those problems over here. Okay? I'm just saying. We have been having fun, Quake. And we're going to have some more fun tonight. If you have not been here for our coverage of the DNC with our watch party, we'll be back here tonight at 8:30. I'm finna go get me something to eat. I'm finna go get a Red Bull so I can make it through. And we're going to do what we do at 8:30. We'll be right back here. Chicken, get your chicken here. It has been nice, Deanna. It has been nice. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here. Listen, like I said earlier, there were people who got gifted memberships or they're new members here. Make sure that you send me a DM on Instagram so I can add you to the members only chat. We have a lot of fun over there. We have a lot of interesting conversations. Last week we had meat pictures. I think a couple times last week, a couple celebrity peen pics came out that made its way to the members only chat. I'm just saying. But thank y'all so much. We'll be right back at it tonight. Let me get out of here so I can go rest up and get prepared for the night. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. Look for us later tonight. I will see y'all at 8:30. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. We out. Bye, y'all. I'll see y'all in a bit.